everybody, this is Marshall, and thank you for watching. And for those who are new, welcome to The Process. And this is my lovely, handsome husband, Vito.
Yep, what's happening? How's everybody doing? Good to see you once again.
Absolutely. I know you guys are so surprised. You didn't have to wait for a whole another two weeks to see
three
us.
weeks to see us. We thought we might, we thought we'd go ahead and just get this video out the way. Because we've been talking about it for a while. Of course, we had some other things that we had to deal with.
That's right. So, for those who already know, we are finally getting this video together in regards to who's really the provider here, And hopefully this will kind of release you, stress-free, kind of, give you some words of wisdom.
It's hot up
and
here,
also to lift some of those burdens you guys may have about money and providers. All right, so stay tuned and we shall be back.
This girl is hot.
Y'all, we trying to get this together. We are back.
We back.
Thank you for staying tuned. First of all, when I was single, I had this issue where
Come on,
I felt like the man need to come correct.
Yeah, he got to
He
be
need to
right.
have everything, and just like I had everything, had the house, had the credit, had all of this.
Yes.
I felt like the man need to be bringing something to the table too.
He got to bring some big chunk.
That was one of my biggest concerns in regards to having a man.
Why do you think that was?
That was on my list.
Well, why do you think that was?
That's just how he was. You guys, if you have seen the video, we've talked about this before. I'm just kind of giving you an overview of how as women and even men, we struggle with being. The men struggle with being the provider, and the women struggle with making sure that we have someone that can provide for us.
That's
okay.
True. Yep.
And we have to be very careful because we have to realize no one is the provider. He's not the provider.
Nope.
I'm not the provider. You're not the provider.
No.
Your man, your woman, they're not the provider.
Right.
I want y'all to really listen to me. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much money you don't make. You are not the provider. We were never supposed to take on that role because God provides all things.
That's right.
If we can, we may know that, we may say it, but I don't think we really believe it. We don't really live it. And if we lived it, a lot of us wouldn't be so concerned with, does my man make enough money? And if he don't make enough money, then that must be not God. You could be missing your blessing because your focus isn't on the provider, but making somebody else the provider. Let me tell you how that's very it's dangerous to make a person your provider. Because once that person can no longer provide for you, then what?
Yeah.
What happens to that relationship?
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys remember the movie. What was the movie with Queen Latifah and the basketball?
Is it making all the right moves or something like that?
No,
that was
with the basketball player. I'll find out. I cannot remember the name. I'll figure it out and I'll put it up on the screen.
We just saw it. We just saw it.
Yeah, you see how her friend went after this guy.
Paula Patton.
For all the wrong reasons. Yeah. He was a star basketball player. He made money. He had fame. He had this huge house. It was everything she wanted. And she literally, purposefully went out for that and got it. But guess what happened? As soon as she got what she thought she wanted, he hurt his little self. She thought he wasn't going to be anything. So now she decided to leave. That's what happens to a lot of us. I remember a time where, and I want to say thank you if you're watching this video. There was a young lady who declined my husband.
She declined me, reject me, told me you cannot provide for me.
And this is a true story, you guys. We have already talked about this, so we just kind of...
I was already feeling better than it was now, you know. I'm trying to get me a good job. I had a job, but you know.
It wasn't good enough for her.
Yeah.
Because she kept looking at the now. Not only that, she kept looking at the man providing for her instead of looking at God providing for her.
That was God blocking her mind. I don't care what nobody said. He was blocking her mind.
Exactly.
You ain't going to be able to see what I'm going to do with him years later on.
He's gonna,
that's right.
What he's going to be.
Thank you, Lord.
That's why you can't judge people based on what they have in the present. Because you don't know what God is doing. But if we keep our eyes on God and know that He is the provider, He owns everything. He's in control of everything. He's in control of your job. He's in control of that check that comes to you.
All the time.
He's in control of your business if you're self-employed. He is in control. If you have not seen our last video, please check it out. How God changed a mistake into a blessing. You guys, He reminded us, it's not even about your job.
Yeah.
It's not about you being laid off. It's not about you being terminated. It's not about you being on leave. Any of that. I can still provide for you through other avenues.
That's right.
It's not about your little baby check.
That's right.
Women, stop judging the men because they're not what you think they should be right now. Because you could be missing out on your blessing. And that could be another reason why you could be still
single. Hello.
I'm just saying. You could be hindering your own happiness and the desires you have to be married. That could be one reason, a whole bunch of reasons why you probably, it's just not your time. But that could be one reason that could be really holding you back. And God is saying, nope, you're not ready because you're still looking at the flesh of man. You're still trying to dictate. You're still trying to control. You're still trying to have it the way you want it, as if this is McDonald's. Have it your way.
Or the influence that they have probably seen. Some influence they've probably seen. They've probably seen this father figure or even their father. Very successful. I want a husband like that.
Or in the media. The media even tells us the man has to be the provider. And the man has to be the one to make the money. And the woman, listen.
I know plenty of situations where the woman, the wife, make more than the husband.
When we first got married, I was making more than he was.
More than me. I was bringing my little bit of check home.
Was it a struggle for me?
Yes, it was. It was. It was really, you can tell that it was struggle. It was a struggle for her mentally, but God was still showing her
because I really wanted to be in God's will. Yeah. And God really put me in a place where my relationship with God back then, as a baby in Christ, as a single person, I relied on God for everything. And He's never failed me. And my prayer will always be, Lord, reveal your truth to me. Whatever it is, whatever your truth is, reveal it to me in any area. And that was one that He will always bring back. Marshall, your list, because I had a list. And my list had to change based on God's will and not Marshall's will. Because Marshall's will would have probably been still single status.
Yeah, she wouldn't have had me. Somebody else would have had me. She would have missed a blessing.
Again, huh?
Again.
So until we're ready to surrender our will for God's will and stop putting this pressure on men and stop putting pressure on yourself, even single ladies. Let me tell you something with children. Single ladies with children, single ladies with bills. You don't have a man. You want a man because you want somebody to take care of you and your children or you and your bills. Stop it. Stop it now. Your husband is your maker. And matter of fact, your husband is the richest man on earth.
In heaven and earth.
Exactly. You need to depend on God for your everything. Remember I told you back in one of those videos, when God told me to leave a teaching position that I was in for 7 years, I was single, y'all. That was the only check. I had no other income coming in. I heard the voice of God say, your season is up. Resign. I said, God, you funny. No, I didn't have any kids, but I had a house. I had bills. I had a car. I had other obligations. And God was like, you don't think I know this? I blessed you with that house. I know about your bills. And I remember one day I scattered all the bills on my bed. I'm like, God, okay, this is yours. And I'm telling you, he never missed a beat. A man could not have done what God told me to do. A man could not have said, you know what? You need to go ahead and just leave and I take care of you. That's a promise that you cannot go banking on. But the promise of God is yea and amen. And that's what we want you guys to understand. It's not about the man's occupation. It's not about the man's ability to bring in X, Y, Z. God would take care of that. Trust me. Don't let that be your only focus. Because again, I made more money than Rita when we first started.
Mm-hmm.
She
made more money than me we was married in 2009. 9, 10, 11, 12 for 3 years. Yeah.
3 whole years, y'all. That's my number right there. That's my favorite
3
number.
years.
3 years.
3 years. She made more money than I did. And of course, me, I didn't
it was a struggle for him too.
It was a struggle for me, but I knew God was doing something in me.
I'll get ready to say
and he also was doing something in her. Okay, this is what he was doing with me. He was lining up my heart first to not focus on material things when he blesses me with money. Yeah. Why? Because I like nice things. I like to purchase things.
Expensive things.
You know, call it expensive, but you know,
That's
of course.
What it is.
Well, Vito doesn't look for sales. Listen. I'm gonna admit it. I do not look for sales. That was then, but now I look for sales.
He's getting better.
But I'm talking about then because I was single. I basically go get what I want to get when I want to get it. I never really had the patience to wait on something, and I've learned these things over the course of the time that my wife and I have been together as husband and wife. But he was dealing with me. He was dealing with me, lining my heart up with my mind up, and lining me up with his will concerning, listen, when I bless you to be this husband that I will use you, to have the abundance of finances coming through you, you have to remember that money does not belong to you. That money belongs to me. And I'm using you just basically to be. You're not going to be the provider, but I'm going to use you as a conduit to be the provider itself. Does that make sense? Okay. So he was dealing with me about that. But he was dealing with her about it's okay for you to make more money than your husband. Because both of you guys, I put you together as one. Y'all twain as one. You're my daughter. He's my son. As my only begotten son came and died on the cross. When he died on the cross and rose up, that put all my creation, availability for all my creation to have relationship with me again. And therefore it put things back in order. Adam and Eve. Adam did not build that garden by himself. Matter of fact, he didn't build it at all. God the Father built that garden. See? And he placed Adam in the garden.
To be the steward, the manager over the garden.
That's it. Not to be the authoritative person say, okay, this is my garden. See? So, at Eve, when he brought Eve with Adam, it was just basically to help him out, manage it, help, neither one of them was over each other. You got to understand, listen to what I'm saying. Neither one of them had the authority or the supreme authority over each other. It didn't take place until after sin came into play. Right. When sin came into play, that's when God the Father told Adam what would transpire of him having to work for the rest of his days.
You see how you're spiritual and I'm practical.
How Eve had to basically submit herself to her husband in that way. But when Christ died, that put a relationship with the woman now who has availability of being the breadwinner in the home
Yep.
just as well as the husband do.
Absolutely.
So listen to me. It's okay for the wife, okay, to make more money than the husband. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, if it's in the will of God for that to be in that magnitude, it's a reason why he's allowing that to be that way.
And you got to understand that when you get married, for those who again want to be married, when you get married, and those who may be married and you're watching this video, it's not yours and it's not his. It's ours.
Yeah.
A lot of times we go into the marriage and we are talking this because we know this is what we had to deal with.
Yeah.
It was my check. It was his check.
Yeah.
I got paid. He got paid.
That's right.
We have to turn
that around,
our
yeah.
terminology around.
Yes.
Babe, did we get paid today?
Yeah. Yeah.
Babe, you know we got paid
That's
today.
right.
So when we start talking the we, because we're one,
That's right.
that it gets you out of that independent mindset.
That's right. Exactly.
That's what gets us in trouble. When we know that our independent mindset separates,
Yes.
cause division,
Yes.
that's the devil, sweetheart.
Yes.
And he wants nothing but to cause division in a covenant,
That's right.
in a marriage. That's his job. Steal, kill, and destroy.
Boy, that's
You
right.
see what I'm saying?
He just want to find that one
That-
little
that
inkling
one.
of division,
Right. And if
in
it has,
the marriage
and there's
that he's looking for.
three issues, y'all,
Right.
that people get divorced.
Always.
Marriage, communication,
communication,
money, definitely money,
and
sex.
sexual intimacy. That's
He'll
right.
try those three.
Yeah.
And baby, they're all
They intertwine with each other.
Yes,
yes, they are.
They
Yeah.
do.
Yep.
So even when it comes to sex, you have to communicate about it. When it
Yep.
comes to money, you have to communicate. When it comes to
communication,
anything,
yep.
you have to communicate.
Yes.
And it's hard to communicate when it's talking about money and sex. Those are the two hardest subjects to talk about.
Right.
When you're in a relationship. But that's when you start growing in the things of God. You're growing with each other. You're learning each other. You're learning how to approach each other. You're learning when to approach and allowing God to make that thing happen the way that he wants to. But when we're talking about money can make or break a relationship.
They can. They can. So can communication too.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So people think that it's not God to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
It's how you handle it.
That's how
It's
to
the
handle it.
spirit
That's right.
behind
That's right.
you and money. And a lot of people don't have a lot of money because they can't handle a lot of money.
That's right. Exactly.
I saw this YouTube video on a show, and it's called Black Love or something. And it was a wife and a husband. The husband was an NFL, I guess, player back in the day. And they was talking about how money really changed. He changed when he started getting all this money. And he came back and he said something so powerful. He said, no, didn't really change. That's who I was. The money just magnified who I was without the money.
That's right.
I was always a person who really wanted to spend. And I just didn't have the money to do it.
But once he got it.
I was always a person who really wanted to gamble.
Right.
But I didn't have the money to do it.
Right.
But when I got it, it's just, I was able to
Yeah.
do everything that was already there.
Yeah.
Money don't change
No,
you.
it doesn't.
Money just shows you who
you
really are.
Yeah. Especially when you have a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know if I had a lot of, if I had millions of dollars.
And people always say what they think they would do with
I
the
already
money.
know. If I have millions of dollars.
I know.
I'm telling you right now, where my mindset right now. If I have millions of dollars, now listen to me.
And if I had millions of dollars, I'm going to tell you what I would do. Go ahead.
If I had millions of dollars, my mindset right now, what I would do, I would invest, right? But, notice I'm throwing the but in there. Well, I would like to buy me a Lamborghini. I would like to buy me a Ferrari. And I would like to buy me a Range Rover. And I say millions of dollars. And possibly I would like to buy me a Bugatti. See that? See, now that's cars. See how men think? But I did say investment first. Now you would, if I were to admit this maybe 10 years ago, it wouldn't have been no investment coming out my mouth.
Let me tell you what
It would have been.
What would I do with
cars.
the money? What do you think I want to do with the money?
She'll sit on it. She'll sit on it. Then she pay all of her bills off.
I pay off all the bills.
She pay all the bills off. Me, I ain't paying off all the bills right now.
I will invest. But
she would invest.
I would definitely
She pay all the
invest,
bills.
But I would pay all the bills, and I would be debt free.
That would be a given for me.
That's not a given. He just told you what he would do.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's a given to me. Because if I'm already in debt and I got a bunch of money, I'm talking about my mindset. Back then, I wouldn't have been thinking that. I'm talking about investment. All right?
What,
I'm talking about.
You have to pay off the bills?
Oh, yeah. You going to pay that? That's a given. That's what I'm saying.
That's not a given.
Of course
it's not a given.
To me, that's a given.
You see what I'm saying?
You see, no.
Now you see
whatever.
You see what I'm talking about?
Whatever.
Totally different mindset when it comes
that's
to
okay.
having
She would do
money.
it first and I would do it last. It doesn't matter.
What you
long as
mean?
it get it done. Well, she going to pay the bills off first. That's the first thing she'll do, right? Me, I probably go and do some investments and find a consultant or get an investment firm and find out how I can take that money and invest it in and flip it, and then I go buy me some cars. Then I'll pay the bills off. See, it doesn't matter. You'll pay it, I'll pay it. It doesn't matter. You gonna pay it first, I'll pay mine third. It doesn't matter. It's gonna get done. See?
So,
see how we think? See, it just. Oh, but listen, can I say this?
I'm the saver.
But listen, can I say this?
Balanced.
Can I say this? Let me show you a key thing as well. We talked about, when you get married, how you have to intertwine with each other, right? Mm-hmm. Coexist with each other, right? Why you getting all so sexy?
Sorry.
You getting so sexy and close to me at the same time.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. I'm just getting warmed up. Go ahead. We trying to keep it short.
Okay. But this is the one thing that the Father taught me. He said, after you get married, your role does not change as you being a brother to her, you being a brother to my daughter.
He will forever be my brother. I will forever be his
Your
sister.
role does not change. She will forever be my sister in Christ. Mm-hmm. See that? And not only that, I will always see her as my father's daughter.
Okay.
Then I will forever see her as my wife.
Okay.
So there are three things that people miss.
What does that do with the money, though?
I ain't talking about. I'm switching back to what we were talking about earlier.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about how we coexist with each other, how you're learning, and how everything is one.
Yes. Okay.
When you're married, how everything is one. But in the course of that, people forget. Those are three things that they forget about.
Yeah.
They just skip. They forget about that person being that brother or that sister in Christ in the marriage while they still married. They forget about that person belongs to God.
Right.
And the only thing they don't forget about sometimes is that person is their husband or wife. It's like they skip over all that and keep forgetting.
I want to go back to what we were talking about in regards to he's been the spinner and I'm the saver.
I am not the spinner.
But listen, it's okay because you see how God puts two people. If there was two savers here,
we never have nothing.
We won't have anything.
Because she don't like to spend nothing.
If there was two spinners,
we'd be broke.
So you see how we balance each other out, and that's okay because I balance him out.
Yeah.
Okay, I give him that stop sign. Okay,
that's
you can go. Okay, and then
I take the stop sign off of her.
And then he would
say,
say,
"Will you just please
it's
go?"
Okay to go and so we balance each other, and I believe that's the purpose of God putting each other together. Whatever He does,
you
there is a
from
balance.
Each other. Right.
Yeah, so He knows it can't be two spinners.
Yeah.
It can't be two saviors. So
it can be two saviors.
Saviors.
Well, I keep saying saviors. It can be those two who likes to save, but normally one is going to be more determined to save than the other. One is going to put the whole check in the bank in the savings account, while the other one will put some of it in the savings account. And then you still got to go back and get some money back out the savings account because you try to put all of it in the savings account and you only got $20 in the account to use. And that's it. Where's the money at? It's in the savings. I put too much in there. You think? Really?
Really? You gonna Sometimes I indulge in saving, if you will.
She want to save so bad, she put all of it in there. Ain't got nothing. Go to the what you call it, give me something to eat. Put the credit, debit card in there. Decline. What do you mean? I just got paid. What are you talking about? Decline. Click, click, click. Bang. Is there any money in the OFO? Yeah, it should be. Well, why my card declined? I think I put too much in the savings. You think?
Anyway, let's go back to knowing that God is your provider. If you continue to keep that in the forefront, continue to know that no matter what is going on, if you lose your job, if he loses his job, if you get laid off, if you resign, and God forbid, every time we talk about something, I just pray we don't.
Yeah, we rebuke that right now. We binding that spirit right now. Ain't nothing else happening in that area.
But we have to understand that, God forbid, if it does, we know God has a better plan.
The last time you said this something happened. Yes, you did.
And God worked it out.
Yes, he did. But he don't have to work it out this time, because we don't have to go through that this time. Hello.
So it's like, okay, God, you did it again. You continue to show us who really is the provider. And it's so funny how if you need a reminder, God will remind you who's really the one that's bringing home the bread and the bacon and the check.
Yeah.
Stay humble. Don't get it twisted. I don't care how much money you make. You stay humble because that check doesn't belong to you.
There's so many lessons God teaches us.
God gives it to you to be a good steward over it, not to waste it, not to just throw it away.
Yeah.
That money he's given to you to be a steward over.
Yeah.
Can God trust you with the money? Because God can't trust you, you can't expect more from him.
Yeah.
Because God wants to see, if I give you this, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Are you going to keep it and bury it until I come?
Like the one who had the 1 talent.
Right. Or are you going to invest it and make it grow?
Or are you going to do your research and find out who has the knowledge and the wisdom to know how to invest that? That's what Christ was talking about. Right. Well, you should have just gave it to the money changers. Those who had the education and the knowledge. Give it to them. Let them go ahead and invest it for you. So therefore you can still have a return. Ooh, boy, I'm talking to myself.
So, so we don't want God to bless us with money, and then we don't see where did it go? We have nothing to show for it. But at the end of the day, understand that he is your provider.
And the minute a person starts thinking that way, I say the minute a person starts to think that God is not the provider,
that's when he will make
That's when God starts to show you that he is a provider. So some of you right now, as you're watching this video, you could be going through a situation every time you turn around. It's one thing after another when it comes to the finances. And you have these voices in your head, and you have other people who are religious saying, that's because you're not tithing and giving your offering. Or that's because you're not doing this or you're not doing that. Well, maybe it's because God is saying, no, it's because you think that you're the one that is the provider. And I need to show you that I am the provider. And until you yield to in your heart that I am the provider, as God is saying, I'm going to allow these things to continue to happen. I'm going to allow you to continue to not have no finances. I'm going to allow these things that every time you turn around, you always got to be spending money on this. You got to pay this. You got to pay that. You don't have nothing left over to say. Why? That's because do you believe that God is your provider? That's because he's trying to take your level of faith to another level of believing.
Which is another video that I was just thinking about. Our level of faith when it comes to our occupation. He's self-employed. I used to be, but now I'm 9 to 5. But there's different levels of faith in both of those. And self-employment is the ultimate faith to me than others. Not saying one is better than the other. I'm not saying that. But it does take a greater amount of faith for one than the other. Although both
requires faith.
Both requires faith.
Right.
But one level of faith is totally different from the other. So we're going to really have a video on that as well. But definitely just ladies, especially those who are single, and you're looking at, the cash flow when it comes to a man. God knows what he desires for you. He's not going to send you someone and you're going to be out and now listen to what I'm saying.
He's not going to have it together, man.
not going to send you somebody, not the enemy, not you trying to get your own man. He's not going to send somebody where he knows his children is not going to be taken care of.
Right.
Listen, ladies, it's just not you that's the child of God. The man is the child of God too.
That's right.
So even if he doesn't have it in your eyes all together, God knows the future for that man.
Yeah.
So don't judge a man based on what he has, especially what he has right now. Because you don't know.
No.
You don't know what he will become.
No,
Only
not
God. So hopefully this video will help you guys understand that you are not the provider. And definitely the man
is not a provider.
Is not the provider. God uses us as a vessel to obtain wealth. He gives us the power to obtain wealth. He gives us talents and ability to obtain wealth. But even the talents and abilities came from God. It comes from God. Even that has nothing to do with us.
Right.
Okay? So what you're doing right now has nothing to do with you. God gave it to you. God has given you everything you need. Everything. So understand, even the money situation, even the finance situation, even your mental thought, pray and ask God, help me with my mind. Help me not to focus on the man and what he has, but help me focus on you and the relationship that the man has with you. Because if that line is lining up, everything else will be okay.
In your situation, and in my situation, he was teaching both of us a lesson. Period. We were courting one another. We were single, but we were courting one another. But had, God, and I love this because you don't have to do it the way we did it. That's why this video is being recorded now. And this is why we're speaking. While you're single, allow God to start transitioning your mind now.
Yeah. So it can be an easy transition. It will be an easy transition for you.
So you won't be a struggle like me mentally when God blesses you with that husband. Let's just say that husband does have some things together very well. What happens if that husband loses that after you get married?
I've said that so many times.
After God has blessed you. This is God now. What happens if that husband loses that? I mean, he was the provider, or God uses him as being the one that make more money than you. What happens while you guys are courting one another and you know he making good money, you making good money, but he's making more than you, and then right after you guys get married, he loses his job? What happens then? That's why you have to be, your mindset while you're single, you have to ask God to prepare you for his will to transition you. Transition whatever areas that he see in you, that what he's trying to basically take out of you and put in you, the areas that he sees that you're weak in, that he, not saying that you're going to be perfect, because you're not going to be perfect. There's some things that God is not going to do while you're single, because if that be the case, then that means you're going to be perfect while you're single, and then therefore he's going to send you a perfect person, and then everything going to be perfect. No, you're going to have some flaws. You're going to have some areas that you still need to be, delivered from. You're going to have some struggles that you're still, dealing with. He's going to have some struggles and areas and things of that nature like that. But it's going to be God, when he brings it together, God going to see fit that, okay, this is my will, and this is well. It's okay for me to connect them together, because there's some things that I want to do with both of them even after they get married. So,
and that's why it's so important, you guys, before we go, to understand that when God connects you, none of that would even matter. If he comes to in relationship with money and God connects you, if God connects you, you have that foundation to hold on. God forbid if something happens and he loses his job or whatever the case may be, that you can stand strong to know that God got you.
That's right.
God will provide for you, because God, it's different if God did not provide that man to you or that woman to you. If God is not the connector of this relationship, y'all gonna have some difficulties.
That's right.
Because you don't have the foundation to stay on.
The foundation is always God.
If you are meeting or with somebody for the wrong reason, and the reason that you're with them disappears, where's your foundation to stand on?
You don't have
it. Won't last.
Nope.
But if you know God connected you, whether he has the money or if he doesn't,
but you still have that testimony.
But God, ladies, the help meet means God is bringing you guys together to meet so that you can help We help each other. Okay? So that's the key. That will always be the key. Let God connect you. And you ain't got to worry about who the provider, who making the most money.
That's right.
Because it's your money regardless of who job provides it. Because God is providing everything.
That's
all right? So hopefully this video helps you guys in regards to who's really the provider. If you have any questions, please continue to email, continue to comment. Hey, say what you got to say. We totally understand it's hard, y'all. We know, I know. The world has told us all these lies and we have believed them. So men, if you're watching, take the stress off yourself. Take the stress. Stop saying, I got to provide for my family. No, God used me so that God can provide through me for my family. Change your prayer life. Change it, and then you will see things.
That's right.
You'll see things happening differently for the good. Okay? So we do love you guys. You want to add anything else?
Hey, just continue to ask God to help you be what it is He has purposed you to be in the marriage that He is purposely preparing for you. That's it.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. We love you guys. And do not forget, be you.
And keep moving. Keep
it moving. Love you guys. Bye.
Peace.
He's always holding me. I don't understand.